I do a psychoeducation piece with clients in the beginning of them becoming clients. And one of the things that I talk to them about is the polyvagal theory. And polyvagal is part of the vagus nerve, created by discovered by Dr. Stephen Porges, something like that. Anyway, it's really helpful. And I've had to really watch a lot of videos to understand polyvagal and how it works. But here's how I explain it. And it's really important because it has to deal with your emotions. Any emotions that you have is going to go through this system, polyvagal. So there are three parts to it. The first part is called ventral. Ventral is where we feel calm, connected, communicative, engaged. Everything's right with the world. But the moment we experience uneasiness, uncertainty, danger, a threat of any kind, shocks our system, and we go into the sympathetic nervous system, and that is where trauma lives, the fight, run away, freeze response, or fawn response. And it just shocks your system. And there's nothing you can do about it. When you sense uneasiness, danger, fear, uncertainty, it's just going to go into that system, the fight, flight, or freeze response, the trauma response. The problem with that system is when we're in that system too long, we don't know the difference between a bear at my front door and a bear in the distance in the woods. My brain and body think they're the same thing, and they're not. When that system becomes overwhelmed, the final switch happens. And that's when the system says, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. This is too much. System shuts down and collapses. That's called dorsal. Dorsal is where you have suicidal thoughts, depression, self-harm. So what's the solution? When clients come to session, the therapist is going to be in ventral, safe, calm, connected, engaged, communicative. So what's happening subconsciously is there is this exchange happening. The therapist is giving the client ventral. And the client either is in the sympathetic nervous system, the fight, flight, or freeze, anxiety, anger, or they're going to be in dorsal, depressed. So what's happening is the therapist is dumping ventral into that client, and the client and the therapist is taking on, their emotions of anxiety, anger, depression. And so what happens is with this exchange that's going on, I will often ask clients, so from the time I started talking until now, don't you notice that you feel better? And the answer is always yes. That's why. That's polyvagal at work. So then let's take it a step further. We can control our emotions. How? Because when we meet someone for the first time, we go, oh my gosh, I really like that person. We have so much in common. I have more energy. I'm more creative. I just want to do things. That's because that person is packing ventral. And there's that exchange that's happening, and it feels good. You feel more energized. You want to do more stuff. Now, the same thing happens when you get a text message or a phone call from somebody and you go, not today. I cannot do that. Why? Because that is your body's way of letting you know your system is being hijacked. And when you get off the phone with them or from around them, you're going to be feeling either sad, anxious, you can be feeling frustrated. It's because that person has hijacked your system. So when we know what system we're in. I know that I don't have enough ventral to give to someone today. So guess what? I don't need to be around a lot of people today, and I don't need to be engaged with people today who are in one of those other systems, because I do not have it to give. And I'm not doing it because they're going to suck the little bit of ventral that I have. And I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's why I carry 2 phones. Client phone, family and close friends phone. And I know how to turn it off. Because I cannot afford to be drained. That's my responsibility. And not taking it on. Polyvagal. Hope that helps.